All right, cool. Welcome to the Cult of Personality podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mikeymcchoppa. With me today is RIP November, aka Oxy, whichever you'd like to go by first.
Um, everyone, all my like close friends and family call me Oxy. I kind of use RP November as a stage name now, and like I prefer for like people to just like in like a sentence. If someone's just gonna get my attention, probably call me Oxy for sure. But when
Yeah.
you're calling me up the stage, like people, I have them say RP November type shit.
All right, either or, interchangeable.
Yeah,
No, yeah. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I was a little stressed out trying to figure out where even I was gonna set up my laptop because my living situation, different right now. But fucking, it's cool. I'm good. I was excited. I was texting my girlfriend and all that shit, just telling her. She was hyping me up, telling me I got this shit. So we're here.
Yeah, man. No worries. I mean, I've had a couple artists on here come here, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I was a little like nervous or a little stressed or whatever. Like, I don't know what I didn't know how to my mic or whatever." And I'm like, it's a chill situation. It's a chill podcast. I've had people just come on here with their phone with like no headphones, and we fucking thug it out. So a mic and a computer, we're chilling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm very happy to have you on. I was just talking about you before. I was just talking to you before the podcast about how we've had Infinity on and Stilo on, other members of the 301 set, and I was like, man, I wanted you on since I've had Infinity on, and that was all the way back in like what, May. So
Hell
this
yeah.
was this has been a long time coming. This has been months in the works, just subconsciously, organically in the corner.
Yes, sir. It was gonna happen at some point. Fucking, I was low key just like minding my business, but like I'm not gonna lie, like in the weeks prior, I did have like doing this interview like on my mind. Like I was like, should I reach out to bro or like what's going on? And then you just hit me like the next day, and I was like, oh shit, divine timing. Let's get it.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I it was funny too because I was looking for an interview to do this week because usually by tomorrow I start promoting a new episode. Tomorrow
Oh,
being Friday, when everyone hears this is Monday, so it doesn't matter what day it is. But tomorrow being Friday is when I usually like to start like leaning into the next episode and like telling people, hey, this is who we're interviewing, da da da. And I didn't have anybody to interview, so I'm hitting up people. I'm like, hey, would you be down for an interview? Hey, would you be down for an interview? Like people that I've had on the radar for a bit already. And they're like, oh, next week. Oh, I can't, da da da. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I hit you up and you're like, yo, I'm down. I'm free. I was like, fuck yes. So I think it was just meant to work like this, to be honest.
mm-hmm. An
So
opportunity for sure. Knew I had to take it.
yeah, man. So we're here. It's chill. It's great. Um, but we won't dilly dally. We'll get into the first question, which is RIP November. The name, the image, the aura, and the energy. How did it start? How did it get here? And kind of everything in between, your whole story, the whole RIP November like origins.
Yeah. On God, it's a long one too. Let's get into it. Um, how did you want me to talk about like what's going on? Like where I was born type shit or what's going on?
Yeah, kind of however where you want to start it. I mean, like the question is kind of like vague. I know that. So like, like the origins of your name, kind of just
Mm.
like, but like it could really be from like anywhere, like where you're from and all that stuff. That's kind of how I intend it to be. And talk a lot, take up all the time.
On God. All right, bet. Well, first, let me tell you this. Let's see. All right, I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. Um, kind of just moved around a lot in Arizona as a kid. My parents both got a big like heavy music background and shit. So like always been into music and I wanted to be a DJ at first when I was like in elementary and shit. My folks had got me like a turntable, like a little makeshift turntable from like what is it? What's that one store? It's like Garage some or
Oh,
fuck.
Guitar Center.
Guitar Center. Oh my god, I'm so fake for that. But nah, they got me a turntable from there, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But I moved to Cali when I was about 13, and there's like I got more so introduced to like hip hop culture and shit. Because before I was very into like electronic music, trying to be a DJ and shit, and probably like rock and alternative and shit like that.
Right.
That's what I listened to. But when I moved to Cali, probably like my friend introduced me to some hip hop and I think I heard motherfucking Wild for the Night by Skrillex with ASAP Rocky, and it
Yeah.
was a perfect blend of like electronic music and or it wasn't even perfect to be honest. That shit's kind of horrendous to date, but fucking at the time,
It was like a fad. I had a giant Skrillex phase when I was younger.
you feel me? Even like when Suicide Squad came out and Purple Lamborghini was like on the soundtrack, just shit like that. But on
Yeah.
God, that like watching the music video and hearing how the two worlds could come together, I was like, damn, I like that. But I'm low key feeling the lyricist, like the energy that he brings on the song and like just all that. So I was like, you know what? I want to be a rapper instead. Fuck this shit. So
Right.
I stopped using the turntable, started writing, and it wasn't until like eighth grade, so like 3 years later, that I finally like saved up, got some recording equipment, and was like started putting shit out there off of GarageBand and shit like that. And it's been ever since. I just graduated last year, so you feel me? Fresh out of high school. Didn't even
Congrats.
thank you, thank you. I didn't think I would, to be honest, but fucking I did. But since then, it's just been like how I explain it. The first year of making music was very just like trial and error. And I should say this: I used to go by Oxyhead. That used to be my old stage name, right?
Right.
So from there, pretty much all the way up until like the beginning of this year, I went by Oxyhead, and it was like everyone knew me as such, and like I would put out a lot of music, and I was like growing my fan base, and then it hit like this critical point where like I was really just ashamed of my rap sheet and the reputation that I had built up as Oxyhead. You feel me? Like being younger and shit, and like not being at all ready for what the music industry like expects of you. Fucking, I made a lot of mistakes, and I was promoting like drugs heavy. Like obviously it was in my name,
Right.
Oxyhead. So it's like even if I wanted my main message to like to the youth and shit to be something else and be along the lines of like, oh, express yourself, and you feel me, depression is a common theme amongst us all. So like don't try to hide that, don't try to ignore that or like downplay it, right? Even if
Right.
that was like the message that pretty much all like of us are trying to put out there, like, unfortunately, most people were just seeing Oxyhead and was like, uh, drugs. Yes, drugs. I need to try Oxy. I need to try Oxys now because this artist on SoundCloud, his name is Oxyhead type shit. Like people would hit me up, DMing me, talking about, oh, bro, like you made me want to try ecstasy, or like you made me want to try it. And I'm like,
That's such like I feel like that's such like a conscience like a guilt on your conscience to hear that, you know?
yeah, because it's like, all right, what I do as an individual, you feel me? Like I might have my vices, all this and that, and I'm definitely gonna talk about that. But like to hear someone who I don't even know and like I don't have the chance to like one-on-one converse necessarily and like really like help you understand what I'm putting out, it's just like I'm losing you type shit. Like I'm losing you to the wrong message, and like although that might still happen, even with the name change and shit, I just
Right.
didn't want it to be like the first thing you might think of or see when you see like my name.
Yeah,
And
like right
on
in your
top of
face.
right, and then on top of that, like last year I had two overdoses of like that I went through. You feel me? I was smoking perks off the foil, like just straight tweak shit. Like you feel me?
Right.
I was in a like a really dark space, and that was like what I was on amongst other things. But it was those, it was that made me OD both times. It was perks laced with fentanyl, and like that's the fentanyl issue today is like huge. You feel me? So many kids, and not even just kids, just people in general is, you feel me,
Right.
losing.
It's like a whole epidemic right now.
Yeah, on God. So it was like a mixture of that, and I had a friend from where I'm from pass away and shit, and it was kind of just like that was like the tipping point towards the end of last year where I was like, I don't like this, like I'm not proud of this. You feel me? I wanna restart type shit, and
Right.
it was November that I was working on a project that I was planning to call it RIP November type shit, and at the end of the album's like process, I was listening to it, and like I just felt like the energy was more pure behind it, and it just like hit me so hard that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change my name to that. Like, you feel me? That's gonna be what I like put out there as my like stage name and shit. So that's how the name at least came about for sure.
Oh
As
yeah.
to why I was I was born in November, so it's kind of like a little play, like tied in with like the seasonal depression that people get like in like the last months of the
Right.
year, and that's like overall the type of energy that like I try to put in my music. Everything is low key a little like melancholy type
Right.
reflective, borderline nostalgic. I try to make it as such, but yeah,
No, yeah. And I think that's really cool and actually really admirable that it was a very conscious choice. Because some people are like, "Yeah, man, I kind of just changed it because in the back of my head I was thinking this, but mainly it was for this reason." But you're like, "Nah, man, I just really don't want my first impression to be this because I've dealt with this from these same things, so I don't want other people to associate with that and associate me with that and shit like that." I'm like, "That's really good." You're thinking of like, I guess the greater good of humanity and the greater good of your listeners and stuff like that.
yeah,
Which as an artist, I feel like is like a sense of like hospitality for the people who listen to you. And that's cool for you the um to take the fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? To take it upon yourself to do that.
it's like obligation, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To take
That's
the
kind of
obligation.
for sure. Fucking, cause it's. I mean, I don't like. I look at someone who's got a drug in their name, like Lil Xan, even, and look at him and his the way he blew up, and people were just like put him as like the poster child for like, oh, these new rappers are telling kids to do drugs. And the last thing that I want is for like someone who consumes my music and like, you feel me, immerses themselves to come out of that, be addicted to some drug, overdose, and then it come out that like, you feel me, they was like heavily inspired or like had some sort of, you feel me, admiration towards me, and then get pointed at me like, oh, you did this. You feel me? I don't want that.
Right.
So yeah,
And it's funny because when you speak of like someone like Little Xan where they were like a fucking poster child for like the drugs and music and SoundCloud rap and da da da. It was funny because his first song that really blew up was him like talking against like Xanax.
against Xanax. So it's like I low key because I'm someone who is gonna watch all the interviews and try to get the best grasp that I can. I heard him say in multiple interviews that like his movement was to go against that shit or whatever. He tried to say that, and so I heard it, but I was like, I'm knowing that like not everyone heard that, so it's like he just got dismissed as the Xanax guy, the guy who promotes Xanax in his name. So it's like I didn't want that with
Right.
Oxy's. Now, as far as like people just calling me Oxy, like how I ask or whatever, it was a little bit of a mix between me giving in between like some people were like, bro, I'm still gonna call you Oxy, bro. Like your name, because I went by that moniker for like 4 years. So it's like most of the connections that I made with like uh peers and shit, they all was like calling me Oxy, saving me as Oxy in their contacts or whatever type shit. So it just
Right.
become I did it to myself and engraved that. But at the same time, this is like some background shit. But like I have O2 tatted on my face and 2002 on my stomach, and that's because I was born in 2002. And on some nerdy shit, when I was in eighth grade, the same year that I was like starting to like call myself Oxyhead and make a SoundCloud and shit,
Yeah.
uh, a little like inside joke type shit was that I called myself O2 because I was born in 2002.
Right.
So O2 is also the formula for oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just like played off that. So people would call me O2, meaning
Yeah.
oxygen type shit.
It,
So that's just like what I be seeing. It helps me feel better that I'm still calling myself Oxy, but at least I give meaning to those alternative instead of them being like, oh, he's just saying Oxy because drugs and shit, right?
hey man, it fucking works and that's a dope connection to find. It's like, yo, why did they call you oxycodone? And you're like, nah, man, oxygen. I'm breathing this air. I'm alive.
I'm high off life in this
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah, yeah. So that was a cool connection. The fact that you connected to like what you have, what you have on your face and what peers have connected to you for all eternity, your name and whatnot. That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking pretty cool. No, yeah. Fuck, I just had a question and it definitely just fucking like slipped out my head. But I wanted to ask about something really quick with RIP November, your moniker. Oh, it's good that I was gonna say it's good that you mentioned that peers and stuff still kind of have an attachment towards your Oxy name because I was gonna ask like under that moniker, under that alias or whatever, did you build up much of a fan base or most of your fan base as Oxy had before you made that switch?
Nah, definitely I did. Cause I mean, I think the easiest thing that like I just realized in my mind as to why I accumulated like a large amount of like my supporters during the earlier years is because I was still in high school.
Right,
So the constant being around like classmates for real, like and like that scene where everyone's like focused, like forced to see each other every day, right? It's
right,
like I was really utilizing that in class or at lunch or whatever to like for me put myself on to my other peers and shit. So that's when I had the most amount of people like checking for my music. Honestly, I mean now it's like I'm in a different stage of my life. So and so are all the other people who were listening to my music in high school. Some of them they're not really trying to spend their time like being a music consumer and they got college or whatever the fuck. So it's like to me, my job exiting high school was like, all right, where am I gonna find that like hotspot demographic that's gonna fuck with me and shit? Especially now that I changed my name. A lot of people were telling me like, nah, don't do that. Like you're gonna fuck it up. Like niggas gonna look you up and they're like, what the fuck? You're not gonna be there.
right.
And like I was telling you, the choice wasn't something that came on a whim and it was really like passion driven. So I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm changing my name. Like I made a whole new different SoundCloud. My my original SoundCloud, Oxyhead 2002, that one had amassed like 2000 something. And I think I still have that SoundCloud page up, but I made a new SoundCloud at the beginning of this year and titled it RP November. And I had my old Oxyhead page. I just changed the name to November's Graveyard.
I was
And
gonna
I,
ask about that, but we'll
yeah.
continue.
So I left those songs up and just kind of like reposted some of them on the new page and really just started. I just restarted my grind like I was back in fucking junior high and shit on my new page. Like, and low key, like, I'm very proud of myself with this year because for me, everyone was saying, nah, don't do it. Nah, you act like you tripping, bro. I'm like, people were telling me, like, who cares? And I was like, all right, for me,
I
like,
care.
I care, right? Like, all right, maybe because your name is something else that you haven't had that like on your head. Like, what am I really putting out there? Like, what am all that like conversation that happened with me in my mind that was like, y'all just don't understand. Like, I'm not tripping on y'all not understanding, but that's just what I'm on. So I did it, and people are still supporting. So like, that's in terms of just being proud of myself. Like, that's what that was for sure. Because you feel me? I see every new follower that like taps in, whether on like, Instagram, whatever social media, that are now finding me as RP November. Like, I'm like I have a clear conscience about that, and like that's something that I'm like, all right, bet you found me at what I believe is like the turning point and like character development and all that shit for me. So that shit's cool.
Yeah, man. What was I gonna say? With the two pages, I was gonna ask about that because I had noticed that people will like repost your stuff from two pages, like different songs of yours, and I was like, the same person? Are they closely affiliated? Like, I'm thinking like maybe it's two different people. So the fact that you cleared that up is really cool.
Mm,
What was
yeah,
I? What was I going to ask? I feel like it's very much like a maturity progression. It seems like because you were talking about like yeah, like I made the Oxy head name in like eighth grade and stuff like that, and then I caught myself at a turning point and I changed it, and people are still finding me and stuff like that. Which is cool, and that's what I mean. I'll ask about. I was gonna ask something really quick, but I'll put that on the sideline to continue my comment, which is that um, I think it's definitely like when people are like, "Yo, don't change your name, da da da, you're gonna fuck it up." I feel like it would be better to change it like now than like change it later on when you've
correct.
amassed way more followers. You know?
It's just like the whole like procrastination or like the hesitation to for change is like what usually probably stops like a lot of people.
Right.
And I think honestly, like during that time, like last year, no, like November, pretty much this time last year, like like I said, like I was in a really dark space, and I felt like I was trapped to a lot of different things, and it was like all like simultaneously, like when I had that like just the strength finally, or like the courage to just be like, fuck it, I'm changing my name. Like with that came a lot of other like epiphanies, revelations, and shit where like I was like, damn, like I put myself, yeah, I was on track to some form of success or whatever. But I was like, I switched tracks to like a version of success where I can also like just still live with myself type shit.
Right. Um,
Cause that drug shit really did like fuck me up as far as like seeing my homie pass away off that shit, and like me myself like hurting the people around me. You feel me?
right. And who's gonna sit here and judge your choice, because of your personal experiences? Like you're here like, yo, this happened. I don't want to be associated with this shit anymore. It's fucking shit up. People are gonna
Yeah.
sit here like, ah, you fucking sell out, you changed your name, da da da. Like no one's gonna fucking if anyone sat here on a high horse and did that, they're fucked up. So it
Yeah.
was it was definitely your call, and I feel like it was definitely a part of like a bigger spiritual journey in your life.
Oh God.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, going back to the original alias of Oxy before we move on. Um, I wanted to ask because you said you made it like younger when you were in eighth grade and stuff like that. And I wanted to ask if that just came from personal usage as a fucking eighth grader. It was just like cool and edgy because the SoundCloud wave was kind of all dark and gritty, and or where it just came from in general in your headspace.
Oh yeah. No, definitely like I started doing Zans in seventh grade and quickly like moved on to like a lot of other shit. Like, and so Oxy was one of them. And like like I said, I was moving around a lot like when I was younger, and
Right.
like that shit just it fucked with me too, as far as like just like never feeling like I was like belonged anywhere, type
Mm,
shit. So
right.
drugs was definitely like my shit. And so Oxy's I mean, I barely remember my eighth grade through my sophomore year because of that shit. And I quit Oxys early on too. Like, even though I didn't change my name till like fucking uh the beginning of this year, fucking I had quit Oxys since sophomore year. And so from that point to when I did change my name, it was like people were like, oh, like trying to either egg me on to do Oxys with them or like try to sell me that shit. And I'd be trying to tell them, nah, like I didn't do that shit no more. And so it was just like a big ass confusion. And so yeah, the name came from usage, but yeah, I'm off that shit now.
Which is very good to hear.
Oh god.
Um, Now moving away from the name and all that, and the first question, we'll move towards the second question, which is more so musical inspirations. Like artists that really you attract. You what's the word that you attracted towards that brought you to where you are today, which made you feel like yo, like I want to do music, or just
Mhm.
people that you take elements of style from as inspiration, anything of the sort.
Yeah. Um for sure I would want to say off rip like X and Lil Peep, you know what I'm saying? Um I think even just the way I like for a little bit even like was like comparing myself on some like, oh, I'm young, they're young, like and they're blowing up. Like I want that. You feel me? I think
Right.
away from the music, just the way that their stories played out as youngsters, young kids, you feel me, who's like got a dream doing this internet shit, SoundCloud, like all that. And I know there were people before them, like Team Such Hollow Water Boys and all that whole movement. But it was like when that happened and I was in seventh and eighth grade, like that's what caught my attention. And like then I started delving into that shit. So I would definitely say like now today, like current inspirations, I want to put like Black Cray in there. I want to put Crystal Castles in there. You feel me? I like a lot of witch house music. Like to this day, like that genre is like that's my shit. Cause it kind of came full circle with me, like when I was younger, just listening to like dubstep, straight up like dubstep, and like other subgenres like drum and bass and shit. And then when I came across witch house, it seemed like a lot more ethereal. So any artist like in like the rave scene, to be honest, like I'd be trying to mix rave music with like the hip hop shit.
Right.
I think even like it pains me to say this, but like even Diane Wood before like they got canceled and shit, like, fucking what the fuck was that? Um, before that shit happened with them, like I was listening to them and just like really like out of pocket shit due to like my surroundings and like the people I surrounded myself with. Like you feel me? They be playing some other shit, and I was always like the oddball, like trying to sneak in some fucking Alice Glass into the mixtape or the
Yeah.
mix of the aux and shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, who else? Like City Morgue is fire. NASCAR Aloe is fire. Like all that. Even NASCAR's new album, like he I don't know if you heard NASCAR's new album. Have you?
I have
The
not.
It's hard as fuck. It's like bro's producer put like break and like drum and bass with the new shit, and that's like I'm so glad that that might be where music is heading because like that's the shit that I fuck with.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, let me say Deftones too. Let me say Deftones as well.
All right.
But yeah, that's like that's I think I could say like that's pretty much Black Cray, X, Peep, Crystal Castles. That's like to sum it up.
Yeah, man. And most of our artists that we've had, they've mentioned X and they've mentioned Suicide Boys and they mentioned Lil Peep and all that stuff. And those kind of go without saying. I feel like those are like very high pioneers of like the SoundCloud wave and
Yeah,
all that. But
definitely.
I like that you name a lot of things outside of that, like when it comes to Crystal Castles or Black Cray, like when it comes to the cloud rap or the more electronic or the more drum and bass and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
really cool to me. I what was I gonna say? I was even gonna say like initially when you mentioned Skrillex and stuff like that, I was gonna ask like in your music, do you implement any elements of like electronic or dubstep? Would you kind of mention like yeah, you do like you implement like little elements of drum and bass and stuff like that into like
Yeah.
your hip hop and stuff and rap and shit like that. And I think that's really cool. I always like genre blending and stuff like that and taking
Oh,
like elements of what you like to listen to. As for fucking being like the oddball when it comes to like the ox or fucking putting songs in the playlist and shit like that, I completely feel you on that.
yeah, for real.
Always having like a variety of music tastes always comes like kind of funny in friend groups because usually people like to listen to like one certain thing, one element.
Hell
Here I
yeah.
am, like country and electronic and rap and whatever alternative shit.
Yeah. Oh God. Fucking.
So,
I mean, if I could share this story, I like last year there was like me and my friends from the set, we were like on this crazy like binge of going to these underground rave clubs in LA.
mhm,
And I remember like one of my more recent projects is called Strangers with Memories. I remember like I had made that coming off of that binge, and like we would just go there like every other week pretty much, like 12 deep, and we would just be there all night from like midnight to like fucking 4 in the morning. And I would just like fully I made it a point to like do everything you could do in that club setting. Whether it was like I went one time and was just sitting on the couch the whole time. There's like a couch in the club, and that's where people just chill and vibe or drink or whatever. And I just sat there. I wasted my time there on purpose just to be like, what is the experience of me sitting here the whole time? The next time I was just getting drunk the whole time. I was in the back where the bar area is. Like I just wanted to know what it was to do it. Like anything, everything there, and like the inspiration that came off of like all the music that I heard, all the mixes from all the different DJs who were brought in. Like at the end of that experience, I made that album with the intention of like it being able to be played there.
right.
And so one of my dreams, like to this day, is like I want to get this specific rave club to fucking play my shit. Like that's like if that can happen, that shit would be lit. Oh
I
God.
think I think you could definitely make that happen. Have you like tried like inquiring, like emailing or whoever the fuck like host that whole like vibe and like seeing like, yo, put my music on a mixtape.
No, for like I began like networking with some of the people, and it's crazy how like those hole in the wall joints be like sometimes oh hold on, this shit just popped up. Sometimes like them hole in the wall joints, you never know who's gonna be in there, and like how I explain it. To my surprise, I ran into a lot of people who, even if they're not running that shit, they got like connections and just the whole networking shit. Like
Right.
I'm gonna for sure make sure that shit happens. Like, but yeah, it was crazy, going there to to the rave clubs and just like soaking up inspiration and all that. It was cool.
No, yeah, that's fucking dope. And when it comes to networking, yeah, there's always gonna be some way, some connection of tubes to somehow get to where you want to be. So it's always fun with that. I, I'm rooting for you. I'm hoping that ASAP, you fucking get your shit in there.
We're gonna do the follow up. I'm gonna
We do
come out here. I'm gonna tell you that they're playing my shit in fucking 20 different rave clubs. Let's go.
facts. That's so funny that you mentioned that, man. I would love like especially within like a year, 2 year span, however long, even a couple months, depending on how like quick people progress to do like follow up interviews and to see where the fuck we are now. So that
Yeah.
would definitely be fucking cool. But
I want to do that real quick. I want to do the fucking. I want to do a set podcast where like I bring my fucking like Infinity and Stilo and like other niggas from the set type of shit. That would be cool. Like
that
if we
would
some point. But yeah,
that would be dope. And I've been meaning to like do that because I know a couple of different collectors and different couple group of artists and stuff like that. And I've been waiting and wanting to do like a whole group interview,
yeah,
just to really focus on it to the fullest. But yeah, that would be dope. If the sooner the better. So moving on from that, but actually keeping related to the topic, mentioning 301 set, I wanted to ask, I kind of ask each member whenever they're in a collective about like, hey, like how do you come to be, or are you the founder or whatever, just trying to find out more about it. So with you and 301 set, tell me about that. How did this summon? How did you join? Are you the founder? I kind of haven't like really looked up the hierarchy of it all. So let me know the details.
all right. So check me out. You know what I'm saying? 301 set for life. We the Taliban. You know what I'm saying? We the future and all that shit. I started the group back in 2018 with my cousin, blood cousin and shit. She be singing, and from there, like we reached out to like multiple people who were just local around us, and a lot of people too, even like abroad from different states, still in the U.S., but like people from Vegas and Texas and Virginia. I believe we had a member in New York, and it started off just on some like we weren't even doing collabs. I don't. We were all just in a group chat, just like sharing each other's music to other people and stuff. And then we started doing more collabs. And let me just say that like the the roster for the set when it started off is pretty much like nothing like what the roster is today. Like
Right,
we had a lot of people who, because we was all young, we had some people who realized they wasn't trying to do the music like that and they stopped and they left the group,
right,
or some people just like, the energy changes. You feel me? Some people, they want to go off and they want to do other things. So it's almost like the set it went through like
a metamorphosis.
a metamorphosis. It went through like a fucking, yeah, a metamorphosis for sure. Um, but now today, like the roster we have, I'm super proud of. Um, I want to say that now everybody who's in the group is from Cali.
All right,
No hate to nobody from out of state or nothing like that, but like it basically came to a point where all of us wanted to be linking up, and so we kind of, with the members that were still in the group by the time that a lot of other members had left, before we started like inviting new members, we kind of made it uh an agreement that we wanted them to be close to home base, you feel me? Or that at least we have shaken their hand like once and it's not just pure through the internet, just
right,
because we want the team to be like locked in tight, you feel me?
right.
So, we were like we started re recruiting, you know what I'm saying? And then we got to where we are today. I think I want to say, I don't want to fucking say some whack shit. Hold on, let me look this shit up. I got the group chat right here.
No,
We
yeah,
have one, two,
it's it's funny that they all kind of just faded out.
17 members. My bad. I had to confirm it. We have
17 members.
17 members. Yeah. Shout out everybody in the set.
Wow. You know what? That's so crazy. I didn't know that. How damn.
Yeah, we behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like even if some of the members is like like I have a little homie who's like he just got into this music shit like the middle of the year, and you know what I'm saying. So even though he may not be over here, you know what I'm saying, people asking him to do interviews yet or like to perform yet, like we got a lot of members who working on some shit and dropping shit.
I wanted to ask, like, are they all exclusively musicians, or do you have some people who are like producers, merchandise, event planners, videographers, anything like that?
hmm Um, so at the core, all of us are musicians and we put out like our own music, but we have a member who's a producer. Shout out to homie 4K Lodge. And so we're trying to get him to be more of like the group's producer and shit. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And really utilize that, keep it all within the team. Um, but also we're working on coming out with like a clothing line and not on no merchandise, like where it's like,
Just
oh,
kind of like a separate entity.
entity for sure. We're gonna be calling that shit Evil Still Feared.
All right.
Um, and for sure ESF. Um, and so we all the members who are gonna be a part of that are members of 301 who just also, like you said, happen to have a, you feel me, a taste for something else, in this case being fashion. So with that comes like graphic design, and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna be in house with a screen printer and all that shit for the merch or the clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's cool. I always like when people try to venture out into different things and have their hands in multiple pots. I always think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like the long run, the long game. You want to have your hands in different facets of like art and shit, so you can get paid more. And so you feel me?
One and two, if let's say for God forbid one thing doesn't work out, you always have something else to work on.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
God forbid, oh, I lose my voice, I can't do music anymore.
Right,
It's like make clothes.
make clothes on God. And so if that, God forbid, like you said, if that does ever happen, we gonna have the clothes. You feel me?
Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I'd be trying to do. I started off with doing music, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm really gonna if I'm really cut out for like the whole musician shit, whatever.
Hmm.
Started a podcast, and now I'm kind of trying to figure out what else I want to do. I've started like a little like streaming shit when I'm bored, like on some video game shit, and just trying to see where else you can go with that.
Hmm.
I wanted to do a clothing brand actually a year ago, but I had lost my job, so I lost all funding for it pretty much.
I feel it. I feel it.
And no, yeah, and that kind of just like fell through the cracks. And maybe one day, it'll come back and I'll pursue it again. But I feel,
We'll
but that's
see.
what happened.
I said, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely fucking admirable that you're going for that now while you guys are red hot. And since you have a whole team of people, 17 people is a lot of people. And even if it's not the whole 17, however many people who are interested in the fashion shit, that's a
Yeah.
lot of people to fund this vision, this dream, and keep it, keep the ball rolling.
Hell yeah. No, we wanna be able to like bring that into like the music. Obviously, like you see people like Tyler the Creator, like literally his whole world is like everything is created by him, like the clothes that they wear in the music videos and shit. Even when I saw him do like his fashion shows and like the set of all the furniture and all that shit, or like when I saw ASAP do the Og shit, all that, and having like Bari, even though Vlone and all that, but with Vlone being like what everyone was dressed in, like I want to do shit like that, you know.
Right.
That's the goal. That's the goal for sure. For people to be able to like recognize, almost like in Minecraft, like when you got your different worlds and shit, I
Yeah.
want it to be like the 301 world, and like when you step into that, all the music videos, everything, like hey, I want my homies to be starring in fucking movies and shit. So it's like in the movies, I want them to be like, I want the clothing brand to make a cameo on some shit, or like just like big shit like that for sure. Like
No, yeah, it definitely would all become interconnected. Like, let's say, hey, we have a evil still feared fashion show. Hey, the music that's they always need music. The music that's gonna be playing is gonna be 301 set.
everything curated for
We're
sure.
we're doing music videos. Okay, we have a clothing cameo in there, and the song, the fucking whatever music video is for a 301 set song. All right, cool. It's all cool the way how that works. I'm glad that you mentioned Tyler the Creator because I was a big Tyler fan in like middle school into high school and stuff like that. And he really did create a world of his own when it comes to like what he does, like music, clothes, fucking
visual.
shoes, visuals. He'll fucking make anything. He'll make fucking bicycles and
Mhm.
suitcases, like whatever the fuck he feels like making.
Not even like mass branded, like shoved down your throat either. It's just like it's so unique and fucking sometimes I mean I know the Odd Future shit is kind of it was like mass produced and put like in zoomies and shit, but like everything else after that, like once it was just Tyler type shit, like became so rare almost like to me.
Yeah, I mean, the Odd Future shit, I like from what I know because I'm kind of like a dork, so I look into these things when I'm bored. The Odd Future shit, from what I know, is like it was Tyler, and then once he left that in like 2015 ish or whatever,
Mhm,
2014 ish, that's when it became like super mass produced because it wasn't his control anymore. It was like whatever the fuck, whoever owned that estate.
mhm.
And then, but with the golf shit or whatnot, yeah, it's very like intricate and very well produced and not mass produced, like quality over quality type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay.
long story short, not to like make this about fucking Tyler the Creator and shit like that. But yeah, overall, like it's
Shout
its own.
shout out Tyler though.
Yeah. Shout out Tyler though. Yeah, but to kind of have your own world and do that, and to have that vision, I think is really cool. Like you have like a CEO vision, you have like a boss vision. You're not like I'm not trying to be like little in this whole shit. There's a bigger picture.
Mhm.
So I think that's
There's so many other things to do, like, besides just music, in my opinion, like, that's the way I see it.
right. Yeah, because I mean, there's always gonna be some people who are like, "Yeah, I'm just fully dedicated to music," and there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead, do what you feel is
Yeah,
best for you. But
right.
I personally think there's so much time in the day, there's so much time in the week, there's so much time in a month, to
Yeah,
do so many things and you know
mhm.
keep yourself busy. So that's really cool. Um, but staying towards, let me see. Do we want to stay on the conversation of the set overall? So how long has the set been around?
Um, so we formed in 2018 and was kinda just through the internet with it probably until, like, 2020, really. In 2020, oddly enough, through the pandemic and shit, with everybody being inside, the set said we outside with it. So it's like we were just always we were shooting music videos on like little camcorders and really linking up. And there was like a couple publication like platforms on Instagram and shit promoting people from our county who we linked up with and did interviews with and shit like that. So we started being more like popping out, accessible to like for people who are fucking with us to like come see what we about. So we did like a few shows in different cities and shit like that. And then, like I said, we went through some members leaving. Things got quiet for a bit, and then in 2021 we picked things up again. And ever since then, I'd probably say like that's the strongest that we've been as far as like people knowing um just how connected we are and shit. Like even through like the consistency of us dropping like collabs and shit, you'll like realize on SoundCloud the algorithm will start to tell where it's like the fans also like
Right,
just when even when we accomplished like making it in each other's like fans also like and just like feeling that shit. Like if you go to mine and then you see Anti Billy, Infinity is Dead, Stilo, Mob 2 Psycho, you feel me? You see all the homies right there. Like once we got to that point where it's like, okay, majority of the people who are fans of say Infinity also know the connection, or people who are fans with the homie Jeep also know, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
once we established that, so that's been established probably since 2021. So it's like, yeah, we've been an entity since 2018. You feel me? But I wouldn't say like almost like me, where it's like I had to find my, and I guess things do kind of go based off of me because I'm the founder of the group.
Right.
Like it wasn't until it was like we everyone who's still on board is serious now, and we know that. So it's like moving forward, we all have that confidence in each other. Like, okay, you here to stay. Like, I can really keep making music with you,
And
and
depend on you in a certain way.
for real,
Yeah.
because with with some members, like I spoke on it, like with them, like more understanding. earlier when I said like some people wanted to go on and do their own things and stuff like that. But we did have like a couple members who like you feel me, it wasn't that smooth of like a exiting of them exiting the group, and there was fallout, and there was like you feel me, there was like issues and stuff. So with that like I said, how it went quiet for a little bit, like that had breeded a like a mistrust and almost like a like an anxiety of like, okay, is this for real? Like, are we staying together? Are we doing this shit? Is 301 set really full L like that? And like pretty much at the beginning of this year is when we're like, nah, we here to stay, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you just needed to get rid of the excess people who weren't, on the same vibration, the same wavelength, the same vision, all the same shit as you and people like you, with around you who really want to do this music shit. And yeah, it just kind of happens naturally. I mean, any collective that I was a part of when I was doing my music shit, like died like instantly. Not saying I was the problem. I
Hey,
was
rest in
chill.
peace. Hey,
I
rest
was
in
Word, I was chill as fuck, man, and I was always the one trying to create and do some shit. It was other people, either fucking getting busy with work, getting busy with college, or just being lazy, and that was just how it was. So,
peace.
and shit happens. But, so the fact that you guys have went through a phase like that to where people were either it was getting hostile or people just wanted to do their own thing or whatever the fuck it may be. You guys went through that, got past it, and persevered and are still here today and stronger than ever is really dope. And I think it just goes to show how dedicated you guys are, how, and like-minded and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
I think it overall gives you guys or gives me the impression that you guys have a long road ahead of you guys, long successful road ahead of you. Otherwise, if it wasn't, it would have stopped right there and died and fizzled out, you
Yeah.
know?
Momentum would have given out for sure.
Yeah,
But as we see like longtime supporters who we can now like recognize have been there from like pretty almost the jump type deal, like that has definitely given us all like a sense of like, oh, we meant to be doing this shit and we meant to be doing it together. Like, for me,
right.
our stories are intertwined at this point. Like, we
Yeah, I
gotta
mean, as the years stack on and as you guys create more, I'm assuming like eventually it'll be like, yeah, RIP November can't fucking go without his story can't be told without mentioning so and so. And
yeah,
Infinity's story can't be told without mentioning so and so. And da da
yeah,
da. So
we
yeah, you
got
guys are coming up together, which is dope because I heard the saying before where it's like if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together type shit. And
mm,
so I always appreciate when people have a like-minded vision and they pursue it together.
yeah. Even like even like when things become like everyone is their own individual, so it's like even though we all have um somewhat like in the broader spectrum like the same tunnel vision for like the same thing, as
Right,
time goes on, like there will be slight variations within everyone where it's like there's an extra X factor added to their version of the vision, right? But it's
right,
like even as those things flesh out more and you realize just how different everybody is, even though we've chosen to stay together for as long as we, you feel me, are in the group, fucking, it's like we don't let that shit like try to like form some sort of like, oh nah, like they're doing it different. Like nah, now we're going separate ways. It's like
no, yeah, no,
no, it all still fits. It's all still cohesive. Like as different as we are, it all like I would say we all complement each other like with our music and fucking even with our personalities. Like I fuck everyone at this point. Everyone's the homie. You know what I'm saying? Like we focus on the brotherhood aspect for sure. Even though we got a sister in the group, shout out Tina the terrestrial. You feel me? She brings that sister energy to the group for sure.
right. No, yeah, and fucking yeah, I think you got to give everybody room to breathe, and everybody's gonna have their differences and shit like that. But when it comes to like a brotherhood or brothers or the concept of siblings, it's like you guys are stuck together no matter what.
Mm, hell yeah.
So despite differences and stuff like that, so that's really cool. No, um, so moving on from the set because I think we covered a very good portion of it, and we covered the origins and the fucking phases it's gone through and where it is now and stuff like that. We're back on RIP November. We're back focusing on the individual. Um, I like to always ask kind of like outside of music and outside of music related questions when it comes to appearance. I see you're a man of tattoos, man of piercings, man of cool fashion, stuff like that. I like tattoos and the piercings and all that stuff. So I like to ask, like almost like a GQ tattoo tour, like show us some of your ink. Tell us why you got whatever the fuck you got. Just give us the whole rundown.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. So I spoke on the O2 right here.
Right.
Um, I have a small F right here that I do have to get touched up, but that's for the city that I'm from. I'm from Fullerton, Orange County, so I had to get that right there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to city. I have this cross right here on my neck, and you feel me? I'm a person of faith. You know what I'm saying? And so I got that. I think this was like my second tattoo, so I had to get it. You feel me? It remains strong point, like you feel me, as to who I am.
Right.
Um, I have baby right here on my neck. For me, this is my shorty, this is my girl. Um, they call her baby. You know what I'm saying? So I got that joint. I got this hand tat. For me, it has to get touched up. Also, I got in a fight like a couple days after I got the tattoo, and so I have like someone's tooth scarred on my knuckle. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it.
I think a tad bit, yeah.
It's faded as fuck now, like it healed. So,
Yeah.
but got that shit fucked up. Also, I was working and washing dishes a lot, and they didn't give a fuck. Even though I came in with this sick ass ink, they were like, "Nah, you're on dishes today," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah. Fucking washed out all that ink and shit.
yeah." But so I got this joint. I have these hearts. Feel me? My homie, I was talking to my homie about some heartbreak shit, and like bro was like, you should get these hearts on your wrist and like have the last one like have half of that shit. Like it's like Minecraft when you about to die and shit.
Yeah.
Kind of means like I'm just one more heartbreak away from dying type shit.
Right.
I have set and life right here. So I throw that shit up. I have this big ass T again for my city, on my farm. Um, I have 2002 on my stomach. And oh yeah, I got let's go. Let's come out the hoodie. Motherfucking Hello Kitty.
Fire.
You feel me? That's pretty much it. Like I have a couple other tattoos on my body that are like stick and pokes and shit. Not the proudest of them. So yeah, but these are my main tattoos. Like I have like a quality consistency issue with I'm always getting tired by different people. And
Right.
some people have the stick and poke, some people have it all legit. Sometimes I'm in my garage, sometimes I'm in like the actual professional like tattoo studio and shit. So they tend to be different in like quality and shit. But I kind
Right.
of like that. So I mean, and as far as the piercings, I have my septum in my nose, and I have this one piercing on my ear. And I've had my septum re-pierced like 3 different times. Um, all like the first time it just came out of my sleep, and by the time I could get my hand on this like another piece of jewelry, like that shit closed up. The second time, I think it came out of my sleep again, and then, and so I had to get it re-pierced that third time. I told myself though, I said if this shit comes out or if it gets ripped out or some shit, because it's almost gotten ripped out, and that shit was so like fucking agonizing that I was like, nah, if it ever comes out, I'm not doing it again. Like
Yeah. I mean, even piercing it 3 times is crazy because it's already like scar tissue, you know? So to pierce through the scar tissue is a lot.
every time it got worse and worse. I'm serious. Like that shit was. It went from both. Okay, the first 2 times I got it pierced in like my friend's room and shit, and the third time I got it pierced at a swap meet.
Yeah. I mean,
That
I
shit.
did I did my own twice
Damn.
because
Damn.
I
And it's like it seems to be positioned like pretty good too. Like the first time it was mine was way too low.
yeah.
That shit was bothersome, but like that's cool.
No, yeah, and fucking fuck, what was I gonna say? Fucking piercings are always fun when it's done like shittily, like not done shittily, but like done like not professionally, you know?
The story behind it is always like that's
Yeah,
always like something cool for
like
sure.
this was some pandemic shit. This was me just bored in the crib. Um, fucking, The only thing that I had done by somebody else, like somebody else professionally, was my ears, and I
Oh,
wasn't at Claire's, so their professionally is questionable. Exactly.
it was like her first day home.
Yeah, yeah, it was like a fucking like yeah, yo, actually, oh my god, that's so funny that you say it. It was in a Claire's in the Bronx, so that's like already like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Mhm.
And they had Shawty on her first day, like in training type shit, like marking my ears. Like she didn't do it, but
No.
they had
Oh.
her marking the ears, so it was already like, why, you know? Like
Mhm.
and but
It's,
they did it well. It was cool. This one got infected like 3 times. It was fine. It was whatever. And I
see.
did my my belly button. My girlfriend did that,
Mhm.
so
Oh,
I guess
word. Belly button.
yeah.
That's different, bro. That's different. I respect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I'm trying to get a motherfucking what's it called, bro? I'm trying to get like the back tattoo right here, like on my lower torso type shit.
the tramp
I'm
stamp?
trying to get the tramp stamp, nigga. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Facts. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. That's so funny. I'm trying to get tatted all the way. I'm trying to do my chest, my arms, trying to get the tramp stamp. I already got one on the back of my ear, and then I got this little arm one, and then I got this forearm shit going on.
That's what's
Uh,
up.
yeah, so but with all that, yeah, man, fucking the tramp stamp would be dope. I support it. I support the shenanigans, you know?
Likewise, bro. I support it. Feel
Yeah,
me?
man.
Shock the
But
world.
exactly. Fuck these gender roles, man. Do what the fuck you want to do. Fuck it. But no, yeah, I always like to ask about that and like appearance and stuff like that because with this podcast, like I'm really trying to go for like a behind the scenes like thing. So we discuss music and we discuss shit. It's a music podcast at the end of the day. However, it's always fun to talk about the things outside of it, the things that people might even be wondering. You know, I don't know.
Mhm.
Like when I'm a fan of a musician, like I literally like a super fan, like I dive in. You know, I'm like gotta find out everything about this person. So
Likewise. Yeah.
yeah. But moving onwards, away from that, now that we've covered that, I like to talk about or at least ask about like music videos and visuals, things related to music but outside of music. So like when it comes to creating visuals, what your vision is, how many music videos do we have, things like that, you know? Who do
Mhm.
you know who does your music videos? All that stuff.
All right. But as far as like visuals, I think I have ten music videos out right now, and two of them were shot by like whoever was hanging out with me that I was like, here, hold the camera. Um, and that was like I touched on that earlier. We were shooting videos like camcorders or like VHS type shit, and I was just
Right.
editing those videos like on iMovie and stuff. Um, and that was like the beginning of it. And then then I started reaching out to videographers. So like there's this local videographer in my city called Jesus De La Rosa. Um, and he does a lot of good work. And I was tapped in with him doing videos. And so he's going up. Shout out, bro. And then I think the second videographer that I worked with after that was my homie Taden King. Shout out, bro. He's done videos for like Ever and Stilo and Infinity. Other members of the set, my homie Graysoul, my homie Jeep, and I met him through Ever. Ever got lost. That's my homie. I remember it was like the days leading up to like my 18th birthday. I remember I met Ever for the first time. He was like traveling and he brought Taden with him and we linked up and we shot a video. A couple days after that, it was my actual birthday, and so Ever was still like in the area, so he came through and brought Taden second time, and Taden shot a video there, like in the moment. Just like we did like 3 takes, and bro shot and like put it together, strung it together, sent it to me, and then ever since then, I could see the talent, and I could see like bro was like he got it to me quick too, like so I could tell I was like, oh, he's trying to do this too. Like this is someone for sure to like link up with. So shout out Tatum. I think the third videographer, and that's the last. I've only worked with like two, or no, three. Jesus, Tatum, and then this last friend of mine, AR Productions. Um, he's a guy from who's from my city as well,
Hmm.
and he's working with this label called Full of Funk. And
All right.
so I was clicked up with them for a minute and doing music with them. And so he as a videographer was like signed to their label as like he would do all their visuals. So when I was working with them, anything that I did with them, there was a video that came with it that was shot by him. And so he at first, cause all right, so this label Full of Funk, they're in my city. They're known to do like more traditional like G funk hip hop
Right,
and like my culture. You feel me? Like the culture of the city is like Chicano. You know,
right,
it's Hispanic, so it's like I wanted to tap in with people who are like valid in my city, and I don't shy away from exploring like different sounds. And so even though I didn't necessarily mention like doing like G funk and shit earlier, I be dibbling and dabbling and doing anything because I'm a fan of music just in general. So when I was working with them doing like that type of sound, bro was shooting all the videos. And even after I stopped making music with them and just continued to do my own thing as RP November, fucking I continued to reach out to bro, and he ended up starting to do music videos for like the rest of the members from the set who were not doing no G Funk shit. So it was cool to like bring him into our world, and he ended up capturing visuals for us that reflect more so like on how we are. Because when I was doing music videos with the Full of Funk, it was like we were shooting videos in the hood, and you know what I'm saying. And it's like the cinematography is like a lot more just clear, focused. And so when he started working with me as a as separate from Full of Funk and just with the homies from the set, the
right,
visual became like more edited. You feel me? Like
right.
more so around, I guess, what people would call like the Y2K aesthetic. You feel me? Like, if anything, let me just say like Y2K has to be part of like my imagery because of me claiming like 2002 and being a 2002 baby type shit. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. That
something.
early 2000 shit comes with it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I think those are the only videographers that I worked with. Every time that I worked with them, it was always like a pretty like clean balance between the image that they got when hearing the song, and like a clear balance between that and then my own vision for like what I wanted to do. Like I like working with videographers and just being very like flexible. Like when I'm handing over a song to a videographer, like, all right, we gonna work together on this. It's like just as much as I might have my own ideas, like I want to trust my song with somebody else. At that point, if I'm already like working with you, I'm like trusting and approving of your past work, right? So
Right,
it's like it's always cool to me to see what somebody else how somebody else is gonna interpret the art, you know?
right. Especially if you're taking something that's auditory, something that's, you listen to and turning it into a visual, something you can see. It's like not only interpreting your art, but also like morphing it into a whole
Hmm.
other world.
Yeah, for real.
So it was really cool. I think that you have initially entered, like, with the last videographer you mentioned, that you initially entered like their world, in a sense, their label, their collabing with their people, and then bringing them back into your world and what you do and your set and your people.
Yeah,
That's kind of like the magic of networking and all that. But overall,
appreciate it.
I think that was really cool. And I'm glad you shout out all of them. That's cool because the cool thing about all this is like this is like a nationwide podcast or worldwide. We've had people from Australia on here before. So anyone in
Hey,
the California area looking for videography or whatever, try to tap in, try to get your way.
tap in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, that's really cool. And I like to ask about that because I like same way I like music, I like movies and videos and all that stuff. And for a long time, like for a long phase of my life, it was very much just like me, like literally sitting behind my computer or sitting behind my TV, just watching music videos all day, every day.
Oh, word.
Yeah, so I mean, I gotta check out yours now that you mentioned that you have, because sometimes I'll be like, "Yo, you got music videos?" And someone's like, "Nah." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
So
but if there's one thing I could say though, like this might be different because like I just like not talked up, but like I don't know, like I spoke on the music videos that I do have out, but all of them were recorded while I was still, or all of them were shot while I was still going under Oxyhead.
mm,
So it's like I have like this almost like I have it in my head like tunnel vision for like, all right, these are like amateur as fuck to me, and not necessarily like the edits, but like I'm like, don't like. I want to come out with new visuals under RP November. Still like working with like those dudes and shit. Like it has nothing to do with like their end of things. But to me, I'm like, nah, see, because it's saying RP November. Like the energy that I'm bringing behind it, it's just like I don't want to call it like OCD, but like I have it in my head that I'm like, nah, that's exempt. It doesn't count. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's a
even though
whole different phase, you know?
you feel me, you feel me. So it's like check them out for sure. Like check them out, go check them out. But like I already have begun like shooting new visuals, and so I have things in the vault that I'm just like 10 times more excited for. Like, and that I think I can like moving forward be like proud of. You know what I'm saying? And like be like, yeah, this is where it separates from Oxyhead and RP November, right?
Right. I was gonna ask, I was like, you working on anything new for like the whole new phase of your fucking work and your era and stuff like that? So that's cool
A
to
lot of shit.
anticipate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't ask too much. I'll gatekeep it a little, keep some of the suspense, keep some of the anticipation, you know?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Which all your stuff, like music and videos and stuff, will be in the description below because I'll ask you for all your links to this stuff afterwards. But mainly for the audience to know.
Mm-hmm.
Description, you know, but like um moving forward to another thing before we eventually do wrap it up, I wanted to ask about any existing or upcoming or in the work albums or EPs or even whatever the fuck, any work that you got in the works, but mainly like EPs and albums because I feel like those are very like significant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like to
Oh,
shed
go.
some light.
Let's see. I think what I should focus on the most, like what I've been trying to capitalize off of, is recently. I think literally since last month, everything that I've been doing nonstop is uploading my music to all platforms via DistroKid. So it's like since I started, like since I set out on this music shit, everyone always told me like, you got it, bro. Like you doing good. You just need to put your music on all platforms. And like I was kind of just took that and was like, yeah, I got you. You feel me? Like I have to, right? And then like I said, I was dealing with like a lot of procrastination and shit. So it's like I wasn't doing it every time. Like I had so many different people, like people who have like blown up since then, like just tell me that and me take it and be like, that's a sign, it's a clear sign. But like I just didn't do anything about it. I didn't act on it
Right.
until recently. Finally got my fucking shit together and was like, bro, I need to do this. Like I'm selling myself short. I'm fucking myself over. Like, and so if there's anything I could tell people who are watching and shit, people who have made it to this segment of the video, definitely if you are a Spotify user, if you are an Apple Music user, all that shit, anything that's not SoundCloud, even though it's so funny because like this whole time I've preached nothing but SoundCloud, be on SoundCloud, da da da. I'm asking you guys to make the change with me, fucking to Spotify and all that shit, because I'm trying to grow that. So I dropped an album on my birthday, which was on the 23rd in November, so last month, because it is December 1st.
Wow,
But
you're the first day of Sagittarius season.
I'm a cusp. I'm a cusp.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have
Yeah,
like both. Yeah. Continue
yeah,
on. Yeah.
yeah. Motherfucking. So I dropped that. It's called "It's a Sad and Beautiful World." So actually, the story behind that, motherfucking, 1 second. I got this. I took a trip to Seattle to visit my homies, and I was out there for about a month just making music and shooting visuals and shit. And while I was out there, I saw this sign that was just planted into like this grass mound.
Nice.
And it read, "It's a sad and beautiful world." Motherfucking. So it's like I saw it, and at some point I decided that I had enough room in my suitcase flying back to smuggle this bitch with me. And so yeah, that's the new album. It was like I saw that shit and that inspired the title. But that is also on all platforms at this point. I feel like Spotify thinks that I just started making music this year because everything is obviously being uploaded this year, but shit from like 2020 is being uploaded. So from there, like a whole 2 years, I probably have like already 100 songs on all platforms already. Like I
Yeah.
just, you feel me? I'm in the sweatshop uploading everything.
The the
So
cool
it's
the cool
happening.
th- the cool thing with DistroKid too is if you upload like a song now today, you made it in fucking 2018,
Mm.
you can put the date that you uploaded and it'll come up on your Spotify as if it was uploaded then, you know? So that's cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can make that edit now and it won't like refuck your shit up. You just gotta
Oh,
fucking yeah. I mean, that's what I remember when I made when I was re-uploading songs on DistroKid like probably like last year, 2 years ago that I had made in or probably like last year that I made in 2019 or 2020. And
yeah.
yeah, you put the date and it pops up exactly as the date you put. So if you want to go back and do that, you know,
Thank you, bro. What
yeah,
the
no
fuck?
problem.
Hey, that's free game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I know like when you fucking upload all your music, whether it's old or new, and the fact that it all comes up as the same date, it's like, damn, you know,
Hmm.
people
Yeah,
don't
no,
understand. I got this shit sitting
they don't
like,
understand, like, cause that was one thing too. Like, I was like worried about people kind of just like being or like questioning the quality as it like progresses and shit. They're like, this nigga, because that's like I just have a desire for everything to be like chronologically right, and to me at least, like the way I view it. And so like that was bothering me because I was like, damn, everything says 2022, and like
yeah, people are
no,
gonna think that you were like super dog ass in like the beginning of 2022, and then you just like somehow progressed in like the
you're gonna
span of a
start calling
week.
me an industry plan and shit, like
Yeah.
for real.
No,
But yeah,
yeah.
that's cool for sure.
Um, no, yeah, but overall, where did we leave off on before I say anything?
We talk about like new stuff coming out. So like so the album and everything going on all platforms. Um I'm someone who always like keeps at least a couple songs in the vault. So I
Mhm.
do have singles and they're fucking fire as shit. So I wouldn't say that just because I don't have an album coming out because I just dropped one that like I don't have shit. But definitely I have singles that are gonna come. I'm working on an AMV. I'm trying to
Mhm.
hit someone to do it an official AMV because I've stolen like clips from anime and made my own AMV, but I have to work on like even that shit where it's like when the beat hits and like the screen shakes or some shit. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a fucking fire ass AMV come out pretty soon. So I want y'all to be ready for that for sure.
that's exciting. I remember fucking again and like my music video days, like watching those OD and like shit like that for songs I didn't have official music videos.
Right, exactly. That was definitely something. That was definitely a way that I found a lot of music when I was younger. I don't know if you know what Red versus Blue is, or
Sounds
what
familiar.
know what Rooster Teeth is.
Yeah.
So Rooster Teeth had a show called Red versus Blue, like, and I think it still airs today. Like they're on like season 14 or some shit. But I remember like watching like season 9 and 10 and shit when I was younger. And fans made a lot of like fan made AMVs, and I would low key just watch those. And whatever song that they put behind those videos, I was like, oh, I'm gonna listen to this. Like it was
Yeah.
weird. It's very weird how I formed my music taste, but it is what it is today. I make the music that I do today. So
Bro, it's so crazy how many like how much power that music has on other forms of media and vice versa. Cause like a lot of my music taste came from fucking wrestling. Cause I was like, I'm still a big wrestling fan, but like as a kid, I was like a super mega fan.
mm,
So a lot of music taste came from wrestling, video games, YouTubers, shit like that. Like all the shit I was interested in as a kid, you know? So yeah, man, that's really cool. So for you to branch into that like little niche,
oh
it
God.
it, it will have an effect, you know?
Because
But no,
I definitely had people like reach out to me off of like certain nostalgic elements in my music that I bring like back. Like I remember I did a I did like a remix over the Satisfaction beat by uh wait, you know that song where it's like the push me and then just touch me.
yeah,
I rapped over that beat like or like um the if I could write you a love song make you
yeah,
fall in
Mike
love.
Posner, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Me and my homie did a updated version over that beat too. So it's like I occasionally like to bring back a lot of like childhood type of memory unlock shit. And so a lot of that tends to be niche shit that people secretly still like to this day that they're waiting for it to make its comeback or whatever.
Right.
That's how I like to roll. I like to like uh bring effect to that feeling of like deja vu or like like, oh, I know this type
Or
shit.
like, yeah, like nostalgia.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, an artist I think of immediately when you mention something like that, like kind of like taking like old music or music that's kind of like unexpected. It's like a Babytron. I'm listening to Babytron. He does like a lot more like a freestyle old like 80s type shit,
Yeah.
like samples. And
Hmm.
but yeah, no, and I think that's really fucking cool for you to take that element and implement it into your music here and there to reach out to that niche, you know?
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
That's cool. I gotta give that a listen. I fucking it's funny. Like I think that like 2010, like the 2000 early 2010s like pop music was like a vibe that was so like it hasn't been replicated since, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
So to
For
take
sure.
an element of that is like, you're taking a vibe that has yet to be replicated. So that's cool.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Which I would just like to like reinstate for the audience. Check out on streaming platforms. RIP November. Support your artists because motherfuckers are really heavy on SoundCloud, and I get that, and I appreciate that because that's where you get like all the rare shit. But it's
Hmm.
not bringing. It's not unless you like monetize all your tracks. It brings in some money, but
Hmm.
streaming platforms too. Try to
Definitely.
financially support your artists. But this leads now to the wrap up, which before the actual like wrap up, I like to ask if there's any corner or crevice of RIP November that we have yet to touch that you would like touched on your interview. Um, and yeah,
Mhm.
any topic of RIP November we did not talk about.
I think I mean, hmm. No, I think we spoke on the important things for sure. I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with this interview for sure. Fucking appreciate. I appreciate you for sure for asking. I was already speaking to my homie over the phone that I was like, he was like, he didn't send you like nothing, no like pre questionnaire type. I was like, no. I was like, I get the feeling that like the questions that he's asking, like they're like he knows. Basically, I was like, I know. I think he knows what he's doing. But like the conversation gonna flow like how it's gonna flow, and I think we like just like floated over everything that I would have wanted to talk about for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast is unscripted. That's how I roll. And like I just roll like with no questions written down, no nothing. I mean, like the questions I ask are kind of like premeditated because I've asked them before on on other interviews, but I always leave room for you to mention something, and if you mention something that I'm like, "Oh, should I have a question about it?" I'll ask a question I haven't asked before, you know?
Yeah,
So, no, yeah, that's cool. I try to keep that for the element of freshness and organicness, because who wants it to be like a robot? Like, all right, rips out my fucking paper, like, all right, so question one, you know?
yeah, no, God. I think
So,
also it leaves for like there's a lot of artists, bigger artists who try to control the media or the narrative like behind themselves when they get bigger and they like tend to try to have their hand like be more hands on in facilitating what they get asked or like how they answer it. So
yeah,
I always like it to be like kind of like oh shit I have no idea what's about to be asked of me, but who I am putting out onto the internet is me, like raw, uncut, like you feel me, unfiltered, and you should be able to handle being on like the whim. You feel me? And
right.
so conversation was 10 out of 10.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, have you ever been interviewed before?
I've had a couple, and so the first one that I ever did was supposed to be just me,
Hmm.
but I brought along two contemporaries who were in the set who are no longer in the set,
Hmm.
and kind of just I have that tendency to try to share like the spotlight and shit.
Right.
But unfortunately, I had to get that interview removed, and so I did two other interviews since then. One was like a 10-minute like short. It was like a little, feel me, like a couple questions, but it wasn't a really like a deep dive.
Hmm.
The second one that I did was more so like a lifestyle podcast of just like talking about everything almost not related to music.
Right.
But it was cool, but it was like this one. I was telling my homie, I was like, I feel like this one I'm gonna get to speak on a lot of personal things, and so that's what I was able to do. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, no, which thank you. I'm glad that, there's like a mutual admiration and appreciation for each other in this. But yeah, that's like really the element that I try to emphasize on this is like a deep dive into people and personal things, weird niche interests, talk about like fucking like you talked about Rooster Teeth, and I'm like, oh my god, like I remember that
Shout
from when I was like oh, I remember that from when I was like a little like gamer on YouTube, like watching whatever the fuck. So it's
mhm,
just like shit like that. That's like okay, cool. Like you and I are like talking on like a personal level. Like even if the cameras weren't here, it's a conversation.
yeah.
So no, yeah, cool. So, I'm always curious. I usually don't ask the question like, have you been interviewed before? Because it's like called personality, bitch. Who cares about anybody else? I'm kidding, but
Nah, it ain't an interview. You haven't been interviewed until you've been interviewed by Mikeymcchoppa. Let me just say, come on. Go.
exactly. I'm the new like Adam 22
Fuck
fucking
double
whoever.
XL.
I'm the new shit. No, I'm kidding. But no, yeah. So we'll ask the last question now, the wrap up question, which is pretty much RIP November. What do you got going on in general? It does not have to be music related. It could be what you're eating for breakfast tomorrow. But what do you got going on in the next day, week, month, year, decade, century, millennium, whatever? Tell us what you got going on in the future.
Um. So, I mean, on some life shit, I feel like a lot of people, at least like a lot of people my loved ones and shit, like people be people be going through shit, like especially like in today's day and age with like like the political climate and just how everything is going economy wise and shit. Like I had to move out of California um in August and I moved down here to Arizona and but it's just to stack up bread so I can move back to Cali. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, a lot of homies who's like struggling and shit. And so I think like we all on this journey and shit, especially as like a lot of my homies are around my age range and shit. So as like we go into this part of life and shit where it's like niggas not gonna have their folks, niggas, whatever. Some of my homies been not had their folks, but it's something else, you know what I'm saying, that is provoking them to be in an uncomfortable stage of life. So it's like, and where I'm at right now, like I'm just in a grind moment where it's like I keep my head down. Yeah, I'm dropping music, but I'm working to get back to Cali and shit. So for all the people who out there, you know what I'm saying, working towards something of this sort, you feel me? Keep going. You got this shit. Like for real. I just want to preach that message of positivity, not giving up and shit. Um, but yeah, like that's really it's really the music and trying to get back to Cali. Like that's the objective in my life right now. So you know what I mean, tap
Yep.
in with the music because maybe I might get a check and I'll save that bitch and help me get back to Cali.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's cool that you kind of let the journey known, let the journey be known for now, because for people watching now, like, okay, we know what he's doing right now, but a RIP November fan in 5 years will be watching this like, wow, and he really did come back to Cali. That's crazy. So
Yeah,
that's really cool to like kind of like timestamp it.
on God,
Um,
we'll see where the both of us are at in a year, give or take. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, for
Hopefully,
sure. I always like to ask the question because I always like to see like, the incline that artists are on and stuff like that. I always wish you guys the best. I try to be a big supporter of everybody I have on the podcast. I repost everybody's shit and all that stuff. But no, yeah, so it's always cool to know, and I'm glad that you shared that with me and the audience. So that's
hell yeah,
cool.
transparent. Like
Yeah,
niggas be broke and then niggas have money and then niggas be in that middle space. Like I don't, like you'll hear me in the song talking about the greatest highlight of my life or whatever, and that's the energy behind the song, and that's probably the time that you'll play it when you feeling the most up in your life. And
right,
then I will have a song where I'm talking about being dead broke on my ass, and that's facts because everyone be there, everyone be in all those different points of life. So it's like I try just to just be transparent for
mm,
sure, like at all times.
right. Which I appreciate that, man. A lot of artists will be here like way too chill for life, and they'll just be like, yeah, like whatever. And
Mhm.
like real like vague and niche because they're like covering up whatever the fuck reality is. But
Yeah.
we're here. But overall, yeah, no. So this leads us to like pretty much the wrap up of it all. Now that we got unless there's anything else you want to touch that we got coming up for RP November.
Nah, I spoke on it all.
Alrighty, which means that this was the Cult of Personality podcast hosted by yours truly, MikeyMcchoppa. Thank you, RIP November, for staying with me for the last hour or so.
Yeah,
Thank
yes,
you, anyone watching or listening on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever the fuck you're on, a fucking radio. Just kidding, we're not on radio, but Anybody listening for the last hour, thank you. Happy Mikey Monday. We'll see you next week and all that good shit. And peace out. Flex. Peace.